Good evening, everybody. Welcome in live here to Avon Lake High School, the beautiful gymnasium of the Shoremen, as we bring you our Lorain County Sports Network Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week. Shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV and Appliance in Elyria. I am Max Drummond. I'll be joined in a bit by my analyst partner here, Jared Vinecourt, as we fill in alternate roles here with Dave Rivera. We're bringing you a great out-of-conference matchup between the Lorain Titans and the Avon Lake Shoremen, as we're looking forward to a great one, as both teams have a lot of fight to prove with their pride and everything looking forward, as we're more than halfway through the season. Coming up here shortly, we'll hear from both of the coaches, get their insight and their keys to the matchup, and when we come back from that, we'll continue our pregame festivities and get you everything you need to know ahead of this out-of-conference matchup here in Lorain County, as we'll step aside, and when we come back, you'll hear from Coach Matt Killian of the Lorain Titans. It's here on YouTube with the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome into the Great Lakes Basketball Coaches Corner ahead of tonight's matchup between Avon Lake and Lorain. Joining us now is head coach of the Titans, Matt Killian. Coach, appreciate your time ahead of this matchup.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. I know we've had a chance to hear you on a couple of our games this year on the radio. First chance seeing you on video tonight. You guys have played a lot of quality teams, and in many of those matchups, like ones that stand out to me, like matchups against Sandusky, Elyria, Maple Heights, you guys have risen up and really met them and brought the fight. What are some of the keys from those games that you can take away and hopefully bring into tonight's game?
Well, we just got to start off strong. We've fallen behind fairly early or in games, and it's kind of affected us. We've had to claw back, fight back, and we get down too much too soon. It ends up, you end up running out of time. So even if you pick up some momentum, there's only so much time left in the game for you to try to get back into it. So I think that's going to be the key. That's what we take from it. Just trying to get a quick start, an early lead if possible, and then take it from there.
Well, and I know something that's been very crucial in those fast starts are guys like Jalen Jackson, Julian Daniels. What has been the formula for getting them going, especially Jackson, who's just a sophomore?
Yeah, so, we do rely on our point guard, Avon, for a lot of things, getting them into the game, getting them easy transition buckets. They got to run the floor. We got to push the ball. We have it set up for them to have scoring opportunities. We just got to put the ball in the basket. And obviously we need to keep our man in front and defend and be tough out there.
Well, and of course, you step out of conference tonight against the Avon Lake Shoremen. Obviously, you got to throw some things out, especially when you're getting the guys ready for this game. Their record may not stack up the greatest, but they've got a lot of size and they've got a couple of good scores. What are your keys to slowing them down tonight?
Well, yeah, of course, a lot of teams get up to play us. You can throw out the records because Avon Lake, a lot of these kids know each other. I know a lot of them. I've known Coach Smith and Coach Gillen for a long time, and they're going to have them prepared for us, and we just have to take it to them early, and like I said, we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves first, and I think the other things will take care of themselves.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to seeing how it shakes out. Once again, Coach Matt Killian of the Lorain Titans, thank you for your time. Best of luck this evening.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, my man.
Once again, that was the Great Lakes Basketball Coaches Corner presented by Jay Valadez, a certified AAU basketball coach. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming up here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome back into the Great Lakes Basketball Coaches Corner presented by Jay Valadez, a certified AAU basketball coach. Joining us here in the pregame show is Avon Lake head coach Eric Smith. Coach, appreciate the time ahead of this matchup.
Thanks for having us tonight. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure to be out here. And looking at the matchup itself, you guys have really challenged yourself in non-conference play this season. Lorain continues to add to that. What stands out about the Titans squad this season?
You know, they're very well coached. They're athletic. They play well together. They understand what they do, and they play a challenging schedule as well as we do. So, you know, I think you look at the records for both of these teams, and you just kind of throw them out a little bit. I think it's going to be a really good basketball game. We have to control them in the half court. We can't allow them straight line drives. We got to rebound the ball. If we do that, I think we'll have a chance.
Well, and you touched on a point that I think is going to come up huge in this game, the rebounding. You guys have a pretty good height advantage across the board, but also you said they have a lot of athleticism.
Right.
What do you think's got to break even there?
I don't know. That'll be interesting. This will be the first game this year where we've actually had a height advantage. We've been significantly smaller in every game we've played this year, so this will be a little different for us. So hopefully, you know, our guys, you know, are used to battling some bigger guys. We'll be able to put some bodies on people. You know, that's the key. You can't allow their athleticism to rule. You got to put bodies on people and go get the ball.
And you mentioned in there, this being the first game, one of the first games with that advantage. I know your last time out against Avon, you guys, it was a bit of a struggle on the boards and a few other areas. What would you like to clean up from that heading into this game?
You know, like we talked about, we got to, you know, put bodies on people and go get the ball. And, you know, you look at the score of the game, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think we played that poorly. We played pretty well on Friday night, got the win. We came out, got the exact same shots on Saturday night, and there's not much I would do different. We just did knock shots down. We went 13 of 30 on Friday night and get the win. We go 6 of 30 on Saturday night, and we lose by 15. And that's how we're going to play. We're going to try to play up and down. You know, we try to get the ball to the hole and see if we can get fouled and get to the free throw line. If we don't have that, penetrate, kick, and shoot some threes. So, you know, if we shoot the ball well tonight and can keep them from penetrating, you know, I like our chances.
Well, and with that pace you kind of alluded to, there's not only a lot of fast-paced motion tonight, but you have a lot of games coming up over the next 2 weeks. It's brutal. Does that mean we'll get a look at more depth tonight, or how do you plan on handling that down this stretch?
That's going to be what we'll see. That tonight's the first game of that long stretch of 7 games here in about the next 13 days. So we'll see. We'll see how the game goes. I'm more worried about we play it one game at a time. We'll get tonight, and then we'll figure it out. We'll figure Friday out tomorrow.
Well, excited to see all that. Thank you for your time, Eric Smith of the Avon Lake Shoremen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Once again, that was the Great Lakes Basketball Coaches Corner as we get ready for tip-off. Stay tuned here on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. I want to welcome you back in live here on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network as we're back for our Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week. And a big thank you and shout out to both of the coaches for joining us in the Great Lakes Basketball Coaches Corner. Train with the best, Jay Valadez, a certified AAU basketball coach. And we missed you all last week as unfortunately the weather impacted us not being able to go and broadcast Brookside and Vermilion as that game had to be postponed from that evening, but we're happy to be back. And now we've got Avon Lake and Lorain on tap as I welcome in my analyst partner for the night, Jared Vinecourt. Great to have you here on YouTube. A somewhat familiar spot for you after football season.
It's great to be here, Max. I'm excited for this out-of-conference matchup between these two teams. Both these teams in search of a win here tonight.
They absolutely are as they're trying to find a groove here as we're well over the halfway point into the season, and you kind of want to start catching a stride and getting into your groove, finding what works best for you. And I think both of these teams have shown flashes of it this season. It's just about putting it together consistently more often. And that's something kind of both coaches talked about in the Coaches Corner a moment ago, as now we'll jump into our keys to the game after we heard each head coach give you theirs. Jared, what are you looking at for this matchup?
I think for Avon Lake, their keys to the game is just get comfortable on the court again. Use their height to their advantage. Everyone on their team is over 6 foot. Lorain has a few guys on their team that are under 6 foot. So they can use the height to the advantage, be comfortable here in their home court. I think they have a chance, a very good chance of walking out with a W tonight. For Lorain, you got to watch out for Avon Killian, big playmaker for the Titans this season. And, of course, Jalen Jackson, the sophomore, number 11, their best scorer this season. Got to keep an eye out for those two men. Lorain has to get those guys active tonight if they want to get a win here on the road.
And those keys to the game being brought to you by Buckeye Community Bank today and tomorrow, your partner for growth. And I think you hit the nail on the head with those, because funny enough, talking to Coach Eric Smith from Avon Lake, he thought this is the first matchup of the season where they do have a height advantage, or they can look to maybe dominate on the boards or in the paint. And like you said, well over 6 foot, and a lot of in the starting lineup and in the rotation. We'll get more specifics when we get into our starting lineups later on, but it's quite interesting, and that just proves the Southwestern Conference, it's a brutal conference to try to compete in.
And a tall one, what's that?
You got that right. And as for the Titans, who you're seeing warm up on your screen, they've got a very athletic team, and certainly looking to see how that shakes out against the more height and length of that Avon Lake Shoremen outfit over there, as we'll now jump to our injured/inactive players for tonight. Fortunately, being this deep into the season, only one to report on, as Eric Smith from the Shoremen, he reported that Xavier Strauss, a 6'2" senior, will be out of the lineup tonight. So there'll be one man down, and a senior class that's got 5 guys a part of it, and they've been in this program for a while. So facing some of the struggles and adversity they have this season, it's been a somewhat new experience to them, unfortunately, but it also, they've been through a lot. They've been through a lot together, so that will certainly be key down the stretch here and hanging together for this final month or so of the season. And for Avon Lake, that's a tough one, as they've got around 7 games in under 2 weeks. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody in any sport.
Yeah, and Avon Lake, they're a more veteran team. They only have 2 underclassmen for their squad. J.J. Bradley, who's a sophomore, and Liam Besaw, who's a freshman. So those are the only 2 underclassmen for the Shoremen. So that's a tough loss for them here tonight. We'll see if it plays into factor.
Yeah, and we'll try to overcome that. And looking to the Lorain Titans, a relatively healthy and clean outfit for the matchup this evening, and they've had to overcome a pretty tough schedule to this point. And the fact that they are at 5-9, it's still a pretty good testament, and a lot of games that maybe they were counted out of, they've been able to compete in. I know our radio's side, WDLW on Friday nights, has had a few chances to cover them, whether it was back in December against Sandusky, where they narrowly lost a 3-point matchup against the Blue Streaks. They also defeated Elyria, who some may consider the best team in this county this season. So that was a truly impressive effort. And then this past Friday night on WDLW, fans and listeners were able to hear them kind of keep pace and keep it a close game with Maple Heights, who, like Avon Lake, has a lot of height. So maybe they'll be able to find a way to overcome that this time.
Lorain has been able to keep themselves in a lot of games this season. They just, like you said, Max, and like the coaches said in the coaches' corner, they have to put it all together. They have to put all 4 quarters together, not just 2 and then take the other 2 off. If they can put all 4 quarters together, they have a chance to come out here with a victory tonight.
And they can be a very dangerous team at that when they're pulling off that kind of performance. And as we move closer to our LCCC opening tip-off, we'll get ready for our starting lineups, which is presented by Smitty's Place, where friends meet. And in case you weren't aware, they have extended their dining hours, so they're in their bars. They're now open an hour later than usual, so make sure you go check them out in Elyria. Those starting lineups will begin with the traveling Lorain Titans, as Avon Killian, the 5'7" senior guard, whereas number 0 will start at point. Number 2, Davion Moy, 5'10" senior guard. Then Jalen Jackson, who you heard Jared mention, a 6'1", just sophomore guard, but one of their best scorers. Avon Lake will have to key in on him this evening. Julian Daniels, also in that starting lineup, 6'2" senior guard. And finally, Luke Wilson, who may be one of the scrappiest players we'll see on the Lorain County Sports Network this season, a 6'1" senior. And before we hop over to Avon Lake starters, we'll get the national anthem. Your national anthem brought to you, as it is every week, by MAC AAU Basketball, Northeast Ohio's leader in player development. Now we'll shift over to the hosting Avon Lake Shoremen for their starting five for this evening's matchup. Starting at the top of it, number 0, Trent Smith, a 6-foot senior. Next up, number 1, Cameron Moore, 6'5" senior, as he dropped 15 points in their last game against Avon on Saturday. Moving down the lineup, Luke Gillespie, a 6'3" junior, wearing number 12, as well as Ezra Jones, a 6-foot junior, who will sport number 14. And finally, rounding out that starting five, number 22, Liam Basaw, a 6-foot freshman, as he was able to put up 8 points in their last outing. And that may be key to developing some talent here in the future moving forward, as Avon Lake typically is a senior-laden and upper-class-led team. But Basaw getting the chance to be in the starting lineup here in the later portions of the season. And as each of the teams are ready to be announced by the PA announcer here tonight, we'll remind you that our opening tip-off, once again brought to you by Lorain County Community College. Your year, your classes, your future. It's LCCC. And throughout tonight, we will be tracking, obviously, within this game, our player of the game, as we hand that out each week for our best performing player. And that's going to be brought to you by Hoop Tech, where basketball meets technology in North Ridgeville. And they'll also get a pretty sweet shirt to come along with it by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. Place your order today at bigfrog.com. And if you haven't tuned in to WOBL or WDLW throughout the season, for that commercial alone, I think you got to. It's one of the most unique ones we have in our repertoire. So now the Lorain Titans are just about finished up getting their starting lineup announced. And we'll move over to Avon Lake as the Shoremen come in averaging 55 points per game, but they're currently giving up 72 per game. So that's where some of those lapses on defense may be coming into play, maybe a lack of athleticism that Coach Smith talked about affecting them. We'll see if they can clean that up tonight. As for the Lorain Titans, they come in averaging 56 points per game, right around where Avon Lake is, but they only allow 60. So they've been able to be pretty scrappy and very effective on defense at times this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that's the case again tonight.
And that's going to be key for Lorain if they want to get the victory here tonight. Defensive stops, forcing Avon Lake to turn over the ball. If they can do that, they'll have a recipe for success here tonight.
They certainly will. And another part of this matchup, I know we talked about it a little bit off air, but it may come to a head at some point. Avon Lake, when they get to the free throw line, it exponentially increases their chances of winning. I know you can say that for a lot of teams, but for a team with 2 wins on the season, you look back at their upset win against Avon, they were able to get to the line over 30 times. So, I mean, it's almost impossible to not win it if you're hitting at a 66% rate or so. And for Lorain, a team that likes to try to be extra intense, competitive on that side of the ball, they're aggressive. We'll see how that kind of balances out here as both sides come to mid-court, getting ready for that tip-off. Want to remind you, if you are tuned in live watching or after the fact, make sure you leave a like here on this live stream and subscribe to the Lorain County Sports Network as we bring you high school hoops, high school football, and potentially more. And the tip-off's going to be won by Avon Lake as Cameron Moore will tip it back to his guard, Liam Basaw, the freshman. Going to pass it around the wing, and we'll see it stood up for a moment, but Cameron Moore wastes no time getting that ball back. A lot of movement off ball here to start for the Shoremen. That time driving, he's going to pick up his dribble as Jones back out, and that's going to be a 3 to open the game by Luke Gillespie as he'll kickstart the scoring. Lorain looking to respond now as we get the ball up top. Work it around the wing here. Lorain, not a team that lights it up from downtown, but like we talked about, Jalen Jackson, pretty good scorer, so we'll see if he tries to respond early. Nice drive down low, and the hesitation move on the layup won't fall, and it's going to go out of bounds. off of the Shoremen, so it'll stay with Lorain.
That was a nice drive inside by Jalen Jackson. Not able to finish, but they're able to keep the ball.
That they do, and they'll work it down inside to the big man, Luke Wilson. We'll give it back out to Killian, as he is the definition of a true point guard here in this era, nearly averaging around 6 to 7 assists per game.
And look at that hair, too. Kind of reminds me of the Cleveland Cavaliers' Anderson Varejao.
That's right, paying homage. I hope he knows who that is, because he's doing a great job impersonating. They'll kick it out to the corner for 3, and that one's going to be offline and be taken by the Shoremen in transition. It's Trent Smith. They'll work it around the wing as Ezra Jones drives. He's going to try to lay it in, but it'll be coming up just short, hitting the better part of the rim that time. Killian now setting up the offense. Works it around to the right side, and that one's going to miss as well. Almost saved. Good effort there by the senior Julian Daniels, but just not quick enough.
Avon Lake got lucky with that one. Jackson was left all alone, and Jackson wasn't able to connect. Quickly 0 for 2 here to start.
So now they'll need to pick up here on defense, trying to press them half court, and that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. They'll say it goes off of Luke Wilson, and Avon Lake will get another opportunity here.
And that one was a hard angle because Luke Wilson wasn't facing us.
And he's got a pretty wide frame as is blocking off the our visual there. So now Avon Lake will work it back out to Cameron Moore to start this possession, as he looks for the isolation here one-on-one with the 11 of Jalen Jackson, and that one's going to be tipped away. And now here go the Titans in transition. And that one was hit out by the defender, so he's able to pick up his dribble, keep moving, and puts it in. Nice little jump stop layup for Julian Daniels to get Lorain on the board.
Pump fake, and finish for Daniels, his first points on the campaign.
And they're going to need a lot more of that. And here's another opportunity for fast break points. Great pass through the paint. They'll kick it back out. That's going to be a 3-ball, and it's no good by Morley. But the layup up, and he's going to take the contact there and get to the free throw line is Jackson.
Lorain playing pretty good defensively right here in this first quarter. Back-to-back possessions, Avon Lake has turned over the ball.
That's been their calling card all season, win or loss. They have just frustrated opponents with their great intercepting ability in passing lanes. That one will just about go in, but it's going to bounce out the last second as he'll miss the first one, remaining in a 1-point deficit for Lorain.
They did a rain around the rosy and now the rim.
We'll see if he can get this one fully through the basket, as that one's up and good, swishing through, and we have a tie ball game here. Just over 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter from Avon Lake High School. And Lorain continuing to apply a lot of pressure during the full court set as the bench encourages them on, and you see a lot more off-ball movement from the Shoremen. This time it's going to be Ezra Jones finding an open man, and that ball, that's going to drop again. Another 3 for the 12 of Luke Gillespie.
Gillespie has scored all the points for Avon Lake up to this point.
They're certainly going to have to keep an eye on him moving forward, as now Lorain will try to find an opening here in their offensive set. Killian, quick pass out to the left, almost online, but that's going to miss, and in transition goes Moore. Goes down low, and that one's going to be off the mark by Smith, but stolen right back. Avon Lake getting another opportunity on offense, and looks like that'll be the first foul of the game on Avon Killian.
That was the first fast break in transition that Avon Lake had. Couldn't take advantage of it, but they're lucky to get the ball back.
Well, Cameron Moore, I mean, for a 6'5" guy, he moves so smoothly with the ball. You got to give him more chances to do that. Right here, giving it off, and Ezra Jones going to kick it out. This time it's going to be Trent Smith, and he hits from nearly the same spot as Luke Gillespie as they're heating up from downtown. 9-3 lead. Now Lorain looking to stop this run here as they'll work it around the perimeter. Also had a substitution a moment ago as Adiel Rivera came into the game for Luke Wilson. They're going to find an opening down low. Great physical layup, and he takes the contact. They're going to possibly give the and one there to Julian Daniels, the senior.
And that was a perfect drive inside by Daniels as he was coming down after he made the layup. He got hit in the face by Trent Smith.
So we're seeing him hold the eye there, and now we'll see the Shoremen make their first substitution of the night. Joe Fallish entering the game for the hot hand shooting of Luke Gillespie. So we'll see the and one finished off that time as Julian Daniels tries to slow down that fast break, and three's going to be off the mark. Two players go after it, and I believe that's going to be hit off of Joe Fallish, who just entered the game.
That's the third turnover in this first quarter by Avon Lake.
And somehow it hasn't affected them too harshly as they hold the 3-point lead, but better get that under control, as if Lorain is able to start hitting some of these fast break opportunities, it could spell trouble. And Killian, being the pest on defense he is, able to steal that one away after the missed shot, and great mid-range jumper hit that time by Daniels, making it look easy.
Daniels 3 for 4 in his last 4 shots.
And that one tough to tell if it was hit off the release, but either way, nowhere near the basket. Great pass and just missing. Great effort being put on display that time as Jalen Jackson stayed with the play, and now he gives the Titans the lead. I mean, that almost looked like some Harlem Globetrotter stuff right there. So now Avon Lake, after going on a scoring run of their own, look to silence Lorain's. And that's a perfect way to do it. More up and in with 2.
And that ends the scoring drought for Avon Lake. Lorain on a 7-2 run right now.
Doing so mostly down low, and right there, just off the mark, maybe a little too strong on the shot. Ezra Jones in transition, met by 2 different defenders. Now we're going to see a drive kicking out through the corner, and that's another 3. Swishing it home is Liam Basaw, the freshman.
And this doesn't surprise me, Max, because we watched the JV of Avon Lake hit 3s. And we're seeing Avon Lake, I think that's their identity. They like to shoot the long ball.
Well, and it's helping them go on these scoring runs here, and that time we're going to see a foul called against, I believe, Julian Daniels on the drive. And with 7 points, he is going to remain in the game after only his first foul. So now Avon Lake, who has had a lot of success in fast break and having to move often, we'll see how they do it in the half-court set here. More driving, kicking out, and like you said, that's a calling card for this offense, getting a lot of openings that way. Lazy pass there, almost goes the other way. As we're seeing a lot of active hands from that Titans defense.
Titans being aggressive defensively, almost had another turnover there. Daniels has been all over the court here in this first quarter.
Certainly has. I don't know how much longer he can keep it up for, but he's showing no signs of slowing down as Killian exits the game, and coming in for him is Mordecai Connor, fellow senior. Tough drive and finish that time as, man, showing us from the outside and now working it inside. Liam Basaw able to finish that one off. 6-point advantage here for the Shoremen. Lorain working it around the perimeter here, trying to find an opening, and it looks like they're going to find one there at the top of the key. Jalen Jackson, and he's going to need to take a lot more shots like that to keep pace here with Avon Lake.
Jackson with 6 points in the quarter.
He's well on his way to his average. That somehow staying in line, not touching out of bounds. 3-pointer is off. One of the first times we said that tonight for Avon Lake, and that time a little just too antsy in transition, and that's going to be a turnover for the Titans. So 45.5 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. This felt like it's flown by. Not too many free throws or fouls to speak of either.
And you love that fast pace, intensity when you're on the court. I'm sure both teams are fine with it.
And it truly tests your conditioning. throughout all points of the season there. Great pass across the paint, and that's going to be finished off that time by Jacob Cook. Now we're under 30 seconds to go, and double team being brought out, trying to avoid letting the Titans just hold the ball for the last shot. But it looks like that's what they want to do. If that's the case, who are you looking for to score here on this final possession, Jared?
I think you got to give it to Jaden Daniels.
And that time there's going to be an early firing by Moy as he misses it off the side of the rim. And it will leave 9 seconds on the clock here.
Moy struggling from downtown here in the first quarter. 0 for 3 to start.
So now we'll see if he can make up for it on the defensive side of the ball, playing tight defense. As are the rest of the Titans, man on man here. Who else to expect to touch it here? And great job picking his pocket that time. It's Jeremiah Daniels trying to get the pass up ahead, but hey, you get a steal off of one of the best players in the county, Cameron Moore there. It's an impressive way to end the quarter. So 18-13, Avon Lake with the advantage over Lorain as we come to an end of the first quarter. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll bring you the start of the second quarter here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Beginning of the second quarter shortly coming here as you see Avon Lake jumping out to an 18-13 lead in our Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week. Early impressions so far from that opening quarter, Jared?
Well, we talked about it in that first quarter. Avon Lake, their identity, they like to shoot from downtown. They have made 3 threes in that first quarter, 2 by Gillespie, and Lorain played very well defensively, forced 5 turnovers in that first quarter.
Yeah, it's been a great chess match here and testing the conditioning of a lot of these guys. Great pass down low, and it's going to be off target and rebounded by the Shoremen. As Cameron Moore, no rest for him as they're going to be calling on him to continue to add to this lead. But it won't be easy as that one, can't tell if he had that deflected on the pass or if he just tried to get it over the defender. Either way, it's going the other way for the Titans, kicking out to the corner. And that one's going to be offline by Jeremiah Daniels. And we'll see Trent Smith pushing the pressure here in transition. Now Jones backing in, kicks it out, finds another open man for 3, and that one in and out, rolls off the rim. And that's going to be rebounded by Jalen Jackson, giving it off to Killian. Killian setting up the offense this time. Another 3 off the mark. As Daniels misses that one, as we're not used to that here in this opening part of the game. Tough shot, that's a fadeaway jumper. Good board down low, but it looks like they're gonna call the offensive foul, possibly over the back on Avon Lake.
Yeah, and that foul was issued by Ezra Jones. That's his first of the game.
So now we'll see a substitution as Julian Daniels will get a rest here, and coming into the game for him is Julian Turner, the junior wearing number 20. So now Killian will set up and bring the ball up the court here. Getting the play call from head coach Matt Killian, his father there, and we'll now see what they have in store. Working it around the 3-point arc this time. Killian looking for a possible screen. Instead he'll give it off as they're giving it back and forth right now, way beyond the 3-point line.
Playing hot potato.
It's a perfect way to describe it. They finally get an open look down low, contested, offline, misses. And Trent Smith will collect another rebound. Now Ezra Jones trying to maintain control of the ball here as he's able to get it back out to Smith. Now Gillespie passing it over, and they're going to continue to work their way around everybody, making sure everybody touches the ball before it goes up and in, and that's another three as Luke Gillespie's making it rain from beyond the arc.
3 for 3 from downtown. Connor Gillespie, 9 points.
And that's
Luke Gillespie, excuse me.
It's easily the difference right now as they increase it to a 21-13 lead. That was actually our first points of the second quarter as we're nearly 3 minutes in. Lorain continuing to try to find either an open shot or just open up the paint, but hasn't been too successful so far. Now from the corner, Jalen Jackson, that one just misses. Good offensive board, ends up with Killian, somehow finds Jalen Jackson, who worked his way back in from the three-point line. And that's a fantastic offensive possession after a maybe not so good look to start it.
Jackson has been all over in the paint here in this second quarter. It seems like to me, though, he's just rushing his shots a little bit. He's 1 for 5, excuse me, in this second quarter. It seems to me he's trying to rush his shot once he gets the rebound. If he could just take his time, tap it in and finish it, he can get some more points for his Lorain Titans squad.
Well, and it's a group that really thrives on ball movement, as you've seen so far. They usually don't let one guy hold on to it for too long, usually a couple seconds at most. And there you see the passing ability of Killian on display, and I think that'll go a long way in helping find a few more of those open looks and helping everyone else settle down. Now Moore back with the ball, and he's had Jeremiah Daniels attached to his hip all night so far. Here comes Smith. Instead of kicking out, he'll lay it up, and it'll just miss as he tried to fight through some contact there, and I believe they're going to get Adiel Rivera for that one.
That's his first foul of the game.
And the first team foul for the Titans here in the second quarter. And we talked about in the pregame, Avon Lake, if they can get to the line, it's a huge advantage for them as they missed the first one, but simply getting to the line has been crucial for them in their few victories on the season, especially against Avon, their rival, a few weeks ago.
And their first 3 throws of the game.
And that's surprising with holding a 6-point lead and putting up 21 here early. This one, they float in, and it's good. With Trent Smith ups his total to 4 points on the night so far. Working against some half-court press now. And that's going to be a foul called on Liam Basaw, the freshman.
That was tough-nosed defense there by Avon Lake. They wanted to try to force that backcourt violation. Wasn't able to do it.
And we haven't necessarily seen that all night from them, so adding a wrinkle here and there as they hold the lead try to make things more difficult here for Lorain. They continue to work it around the perimeter. Killian, he'll take it himself this time, and it's off the line, off mark. And now we'll see Trent Smith moving in transition. Offensive setup, Ezra Jones with the left hand tries to lay it in, looking for a foul. He's not going to get it. Now Killian pushing the tempo here. Gives it off to the 21 of Adiel Rivera, kicks it out. We're seeing a lot of pump fakes and hesitations. This time, no hesitation, as Daniels is going to lay that one in. Up to 9 points on the night now.
What a tough run inside the lane by Julian Daniels.
And he's going to block it on the other end, rejecting it. They'll go the other way, nearly by himself, and that's going to be laid in by Jeremiah Daniels. Now just a 3-point ball game, 22-19, as Avon Lake's seen enough there, and we'll call a timeout. We'll take a quick one with them. Be back here shortly on the Lorain County Sports Network. Getting a look in at the Lorain Titans huddle as they've gone on a little bit of a run here. Nice back-to-back possessions as Avon Lake will try to counter that now. Holding just a 22-19 lead as we're halfway through the second quarter. And each team has had to use a bit of depth so far.
Lorain building some momentum here halfway through the second quarter.
And they'll keep this press alive, especially after the timeout. And actually, check that. They kind of let that ball get up court pretty quickly. And this is going to be a quick bucket. Bassaw, once again, the 6-footer strikes again. Great find there by Cameron Moore, the 6'5" senior, as he'll take on Killian. It almost looks like a 2-3 zone is in effect here, trying to keep the ball on the perimeter, and that's exactly why Julian Daniels right there with the jumper as he continues to add to his scoring totals. This time we're gonna see more drive, kick out. Sound like a broken record, don't I? Because that's another 3. This time it's gonna be drained home by Joe Fallish. Lorain looking to respond. That one's gonna hit off the front of the rim and it'll hit the top of the backboard and end up being Shoremen ball. I'll tell you what, they gotta find a way to prevent those driving kickouts because they're killing Lorain right now. Avon Lake's just getting that all day.
Lorain loves the double team, and it's costing them here in this first half.
See how they respond here as they'll begin being aggressive on the other side of the half-court line. Jones picks up his dribble, and it'll go right to one of the Lorain assistants as he had his hands ready, active hands. That's where the players have to get it from.
He was ready. He was prepared.
As it ended up between 2 Shoremen teammates, as that was a certainly rushed pass and possession. So now Lorain down 6. Try to get back on the scoreboard here with another bucket. And that one's gonna be wide open in a sense. Good offensive board that time. Rivera kicks it back outside. And Killian somehow bounce passes it between 4 different Shoremen. And it's gonna be finished off by Daniels. Already up to an efficient 13 here in the opening half. Moore now trying to break this pressure. He's got the size advantage, tries to back him down, and man, Julian Daniels looked like he got a lot of basketball there, but that's gonna be called a foul.
For Daniels, that's his second foul in the game.
Gotta wonder if that'll creep into Coach Killian's mind and maybe try to take him out here in the final 2 minutes. He's gonna stay on the floor for now, but that's certainly something to keep an eye on. As the Shoremen are looking for an inbound passer, and they found him. But before that, we will see Luke Wilson, the 6'1" senior, check back into the game for the first time since the opening minutes, and he will do so for Daniels. That's just a smart move, right? I mean, you're within a single-digit possession game, and you don't want to get an extra silly foul before halftime if you're Daniels. Moore with that spin step, and he's going to put it up a little too strong, but I'll tell you what, Trent Smith, for a guard, he's gobbling up a lot of rebounds here tonight, and he's going to force another foul.
The 6-foot senior has made things happen today for Avon Lake.
Definitely outplaying that 6-foot listed height. And it's now up to 3 fouls in the quarter for Lorain. We've already seen Smith at the line go 1 of 2. He'll drain that one the same way he was able to put in the other one, getting up to 5 points on the evening. And the second one for Smith is up and in. So after the first miss he had of the night, been able to correct that with 3 straight makes from the charity strike. And want to remind you all season long that our free throw line is brought to you by Rewalk Law. So that one's going to be called out on Avon Lake as the Titans tried to get across half court quickly. Weren't able to do so cleanly. Now Killian will get the ball back after inbounding it, as they trail 29-23. Still working it around the outside. This time a pick and no roll needed as he's going to put it up and in. Jalen Jackson hitting that one as he's up into the double digits now in scoring. And now he's going to help apply pressure to Moore. Gets it off to Jones. Kick out, no hesitation, 3. That one off the mark. And that's going to be tough. That's a real 50-50, and they're going to say it goes out off of likely Luke Wilson and stay with Avon Lake. I'll tell you what, Coach Smith, he alluded to this in the pregame. When they're hitting their shots, I mean, they can compete with anybody with how aggressive they are. That's close to the half-court line. They're going to say he caught it behind and now brings it up.
It was very close.
So no over and back, but they're still working dangerously close to it right now. Now Ezra Jones, he'll drive and use the strength, and it goes off the side of the rim. So now with just over a minute remaining, we'll see Killian and the Titans come across. Trying to avoid a turnover, but throws it into one anyway. And he's gonna bump it off of Moore. So the 5'7" senior, despite throwing it away, able to get it back for his team.
That was great hustle by Killian. He made a mistake, got quickly back on defense, and able to get the ball right back for his team.
And that shows the heart of a coach's son, right? He knows if he didn't get back for that, he'd be hearing about it not only at halftime, but probably after the game too. So now we'll see Julian Daniels re-enter the game, 23 there at the bottom left of your screen as they try to find it down low, and that's going to be off the mark. But a great offensive board and puts it back in, does Luke Wilson. Also a great impact player on the football team this fall. So now it's 29-28. It's become a very close ball game here. And with 23 seconds left, likely see Avon Lake try to hold it for this last shot. Jones gets down low, but that's going to be deflected. And they're going to call a foul on Smith there. Great steal by the big man, Luke Wilson.
And Luke Wilson in transition wanted to have a fast break right there, but Smith drew the reach-in foul.
And he'll exit, but made a great impact there as he was able to get the offensive board and a putback on the last possession and also force a turnover, and now sets up Lorain a chance to take the lead heading into halftime.
Well, he put Julian Daniels back in for this last play, 10 seconds left in the second quarter.
Have to imagine he'll be involved. 4, 3, 2, 1. They're going to keep playing patty cake back and forth, and nobody's going to take a shot, unfortunately. So that'll end the first half. And obviously, Coach Matt Killian very displeased with how that last possession went. Even still, his team very much in this ball game as it's neck and neck to this point. And we'll take a timeout for the start of halftime as we get ready for the Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Uninsured, enroll today with Jeff Allison in Amherst. We'll get back with that, some halftime stats, and more here on the Lorain County Sports Network. back here at halftime from Avon Lake High School as the Shoremen at the moment hold a 29-28 lead over the Lorain Titans in what was a very competitive back and forth first half. And it was an exciting one with a lot of runs from both teams, as either refusing to let the other one get away with the win here that easily. So this is the Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Happy to have you along with us, and make sure to continue staying with us for your favorite team or maybe just for your favorite sport here in the county by liking and subscribing here on YouTube. As I'll throw it over to Jared as he's got some of our Al Januzzi CPA stats, because it's all about the numbers with Al Januzzi.
Let's start with the Lorain Titans. Thank you, Max. Julian Daniels leading the way. He has 13 points on the night. Had a big second quarter with 7 points. And then Jalen Jackson, he has 11 points in the campaign. Had a big second quarter as well with 5 points. For the Shoremen, Luke Gillespie cannot be stopped. 3 for 3 on threes, a perfect 100% shooting percentage in the first half, along with his counterpart and teammate Leon Buzzsaw. He has 7 points. Those two have really been playmakers for the Shoremen here to start out with the 1-point lead going into half.
Yeah, and I think that's what stood out the most to me in the first half is looking at Lorain's side. Those two guys you mentioned, they've combined for 24 of the 28 points. So for that production, if it hasn't been them, it's been tough to come by. But it's not exactly something new for them. I know on our WDLW game for Lorain and Shaw, that was the case. They jumped out to a 16-2 run on their own. So I know Coach Killian fully expects that from them. Maybe want to see a couple more guys help out and add on to that. And for Avon Lake, it definitely is a balanced approach. And I mean, that three-point line, we knew they could shoot it coming in, but I think that's surprised a lot of people in here. Has certainly been the difference so far.
For Avon Lake, they need to minimize the turnovers. They had 7 turnovers in that first half, 5 in the first quarter. And for Lorain, they have to get Avon Killian involved more. He only had 1 shot in that first half.
Well, and he's had a lot of nifty passes, but you're right. I think he's in that point guard mentality mode where he wants to give off, get everybody else going, get them involved. And sometimes he's had a few open looks, and I'm sure we may see a few here in this second half, especially in transition, where he chooses to take it or go up and try to draw a foul and maybe get Avon Lake in foul trouble. And then that's another part. We haven't had to give our friend Chris Rewalk, attorney at law, many shout-outs because there weren't too many trips to the free throw line. Maybe in the second quarter, Avon Lake got there a little more often. But we'll see if we get more opportunities to tell you about Rewalk Law LLC at the free throw line. Still have yet to see a slam dunk in this matchup for our Steve Lawson of Russell Real Estate Services. When you're buying or selling, just visit superstevesells.com. As both teams have now re-entered the court as they begin to warm up for the second half. And as they get ready and warmed up, we'll take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll bring you the start of the third quarter here of this out-of-conference Lorain County High School Hoops matchup. third quarter just about to get underway here as Avon Lake and Lorain have put on a show so far, as both these teams playing with a lot of pride this evening and looking to bounce back from losses in their previous outings. As the halftime timer is officially complete, and we'll see Avon Lake, who is holding that 1-point advantage, get the ball to start the third quarter, as it will be Ezra Jones inbounding to likely Cameron Moore, as he's taking the brunt of this half-court, full-court press, if you will. And I think that's why it's led to a little bit less scoring from him, as he's expending a lot of energy just getting them into their offensive sets.
And he's only had 3 shot attempts in the first half.
We'll see if that can change, and that time trying to draw a foul. The entire bench looking for one. They won't get it as Jones falls and is able to try to get back and keep up. And right there, an offensive board. Good job down low there as Jalen Jackson makes it 13 on the night.
And the first lead for Lorain.
And it's a big moment here. Jones kicking it out, taking his time, is the 22 of Bissau, and he won't make it. But once again, Trent Smith, and he is on a fast track to being the leader of our rebound report, brought to you by Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Lorain County. That's already 5 for the guard. And he'll head back to the free throw line where he's made 3 in a row. That is the Rewalk Law LLC free throw line. That one, a very high arc on that release, and it's just what the doctor ordered, tying this game up.
And he's the only one for Avon Lake that has shot free throws today.
And I would not have guessed that coming in, that's for sure. And that one will miss out, almost getting the offensive board as Jones, but instead it'll go Lorain's way. Killian trying to keep the ball moving here as it's going to be kicked out ultimately to Daniels, and he drains that one in the corner. And he continues to be a source, one of the only sources of offense here for the Titans.
And we talked about Jackson and Julian Daniels at halftime, the 2 playmakers for this Lorain Titans offense, and they're the first 2 to score here to start the third quarter.
They'll certainly try to keep it that way. Killian, great steal there as he bounces it ahead. That's going to be thrown up almost like a lob, and that's going to be finished off by Jackson as he received it on the dish from Daniels. And we have a stoppage in play here. Looks like they might get Luke Wilson for a foul on that one.
And it looks like Jalen Jackson and Julian Daniels have been shot out of a cannon to start the second half. They're moving at a fast pace, high intensity, really communicating well on the floor. They look like 2 peas in a pod right now.
Yeah, that was a beautiful layup move there by those 2. Look forward to seeing more of them, as they may have been advised, hey, let's be a little more dominant out there. Let's get you guys the ball, and they're making it happen. Cross-court path. That's going to be in the corner, and that's going to be a 3 in return by Liam Bissau. Not a shocker there as this freshman continues to play well. As he will take on Killian. And we'll see them remain in this zone defense here, and it's been somewhat tough to break in the half-court sets for Lorain. Pump fake there by Moy as he'll give it back to Killian. Not a lot of off-ball movement, though. That is one thing that when they went stagnant in the first half, you might point to that. Great give and go that time, but it's going to be off the mark, and Avon Lake goes the other way.
It was an amazing feed inside by Luke Wilson, just not able to finish as the Titans are on the rebound.
As they get going down the other side of the court, Killian, bounce pass, finds a man, he'll get it back. As he gives off, as that's his first tendency, is to find the open man. He's done that all night this evening. Gives it off to Daniels. Tries to double clutch the layup, and it'll be almost blocked in a sense. Very physical play there, and now Cameron Moore will go to work. As he calls off a screen, and he'll pass it this time over to Gillespie, who we haven't called his name yet here in the third quarter. Bissau, a circus layup, and he's gonna miss. But it looks like they're going to get one of the Titans for a foul. I'll tell you what, if that would have gone in, that would have been one of the most miraculous plays we've seen all season.
Looks like the foul was on Lorain Titans number 2, Davion Moy, excuse me.
And we finally get a different Shoremen to the line. And it's going to be a make bouncing, hitting almost all sides of the rim there, but goes in. As they look to tie the game up here with another make. Basaw up and switches that one home. And a quick timeout to turn around off of that by the Shoremen as they will collect their thoughts ahead of this next defensive possession. We'll do the same and be back here in the third quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network. Coming out of our commercial break there, you got to see just a handful of our great many sponsors helping make our coverage of high school hoops here in Lorain County possible. So big thank you to all of them as we're back now with Lorain getting ready to inbound the ball, all tied up at 35.
And Avon Lake on a nice little 5-0 run right now.
They were able to do that and use a timeout. Get a little more rest as Killian will get the pass there, and just out of the reach, but somehow getting a grasp on it is Adiel Rivera. And he puts it up, no good. Another great rebound by Smith, who, nice outlet pass on top of that. And Basaw, pull-up jumper is the freshman. He's starting to heat up now here in this third quarter. 14 points for Basaw.
And 7 in the quarter.
And now they'll try to continue to slow down Lorain, who has remained pretty similar with their offense throughout the game. And not really committing anybody to the paint, knowing that the size that the Shoremen possess. And another thing this may do is get Avon Lake out of their rhythm on offense if they have to wait that much longer to shoot. Tough layup, won't go in, but he'll secure the foul as Jalen Jackson will head to the line.
Jackson 1 for 2 on 3 throws here tonight.
And a tough foul to take there. Trent Smith getting his 3rd of the game. And he's got 7 points, but he's also been a major factor in their rebounding.
And they're going to have to keep a close eye on him. Don't want him to foul out if you're head coach Eric Smith.
And there is a sub coming in off the bench. Fallish, I thought for sure it might have been for Smith, but no, they're going to remove Gillespie. And now they'll set back up after the free throw make. Looking to tie the game here is Jackson. Also trying to keep pace with fellow teammate Julian Daniels. As he does, they're both at 16 points each. And we got a tie ball game. And with that, Jacob Cook, we'll see him enter the game for the first time as Trent Smith will exit. As looks like the officials are trying to determine if they checked him in time. Looks like we're good to go. As the junior, who had 5 points in their last game against the Eagles, enters the game. I'll tell you what, Jeremiah Daniels has not backed down all night and taken on the assignment of Cameron Moore, continuing to just almost face guard him in a way. And it looks like Moore trying to find somebody, as there was really no movement outside of him on that one. Going in transition, we're going to get a dunk on that one, and that's going to be our Steve Lawson of Russell Real Estate Services slam dunk of the game. First one of the night. And that time, we're going to see a foul called on Lorain after the explosive jam to put them up 2.
The explosive jam by Jalen Jackson. He's got 8 points this quarter, and now he's up to 19 for the game.
That may have been the most fun way of points he's converted on this evening. And it also gives them the lead. And like you said, when they've had it, they haven't been able to hold it for long. So we'll see if they can step up here defensively.
It seems like for me, Lorain, they had to have 1 quarter of play to wake themselves up. They outscored Avon Lake in the second quarter 15-11, and they're trying to do that here in this third quarter as well.
And during the process of trying to inbound the ball, we're going to get a foul, and that could be the fourth. Yes, it will be the fourth foul on Luke Wilson, who just checked back into the game. So, and that gets us to our fifth foul of the quarter, which means we're in the bonus for the Shoremen.
And Luke Gillespie will head to the line. He'll shoot his first 2 free throws.
And this could be a great way of getting him going here in this third quarter, as he's been pretty quiet after electric first half of shooting.
Hasn't had a shot attempt this quarter. These 2 first 3 throws will be the first 2 of the quarter.
There's the first one up and in. Interestingly enough, I haven't seen this too often. The way the feet are facing. I've always heard it. I've been out of the game for a while, that you face the basket, but he's found some comfortability there. Knocks down both of them with ease.
Kind of like how people walk with duck feet.
Yeah. Look, if it works for him, I'm not going to question it. So that'll be both free throws up and in. And we'll tie it back up here at 39. As for Lorain, they're going to have to find a way without Julian Daniels on the lineup to score. Obviously, Jalen Jackson has been doing just fine in that department, but we'll see if Avon Lake focuses solely on him. That pass by Killian over the head of a teammate. Floater attempt, no good. And up and in. That's going to be a great offensive board and putback by Wilson, who's playing with 4 fouls as well, making that play even more impressive. Jones trying to find a man, and he will, kicks it out, and that's going to be another 3 added to Gillespie's total, as that's his 4th one of the night. And that one's going to be tipped in the paint, trying the up and under layup, no good, as Liam Basaw can't finish off the turnover into a fast break bucket.
Basaw, this is an impressive freshman for the Shoremen. He's had a great game tonight.
Certainly a bright future there with already a very gifted scorer. Jones being double teamed, gets it up ahead to Moore. He takes a 3 and he's gonna knock it down. We've been waiting on him to be aggressive, and doing so right there extends this lead to 4.
Moore now with 5 points. He makes his first 3 on the campaign.
Now he'll try to recover with some defense there in the corner. We're seeing a lot more double teams and passes being tipped in the lane by Avon Lake. And it is being very effective here over the past couple possessions. So Jones will sit down and Cook will re-enter, the 6'1" junior. I'll look to Rivera, who inbounds it to Killian. As he'll continue to pass around the arc here. Looked like Jackson may have been open on that corner, but good recovery by Avon Lake, and that time, almost a turnover, it's saved. Corner 3's no good. Killian, the smallest guy on the floor, gets up for that offensive board. That was all heart right there. And he saves a possession here on offense. Great pass, great find, and the layup just out. As Lorain has missed a few of those down low, which if may be the difference between them trailing and leading the game right now. And that might have been a case of oversharing. It looked like Cook had a layup there, tried to give it off, and it's going to be turned over.
Yeah, Jacob Cook driving down in the lane. I'm not sure why he tried to pass that off. Forced a turnover that should never happen by the Shoremen.
Certainly a close call there, and we're going to see a full timeout. So with 1:20 to go in the third quarter, we'll take it with them. When we come back, we'll continue this thrilling matchup between Avon Lake and Lorain. Timeout from the Titans, almost complete here, as we're almost complete with the third quarter, which means we're heading towards the finale of this game. And once we get there, we're going to have some awards to hand out, like our player of the game. A lot of options for that right now. It's not going to be easy on us. And we've also got our Miss and Mr. Basketball watches to look at, our Hustle Award, Rebound Report. It's all coming up at the end of this game, but we're nowhere near close to that right now as Lorain looks to get their next offensive possession started. Killian will bring it across the half-court line as they look for some openings around the perimeter. Good find down low. Another pass into the paint, and that one's going to be stolen. And we've seen a lot of these possessions hit a snag once they've gotten into the paint. And that time, in transition, they're going to get Killian for the foul on Cameron Moore as Lorain continues to be in foul trouble here in this third quarter.
And I was surprised there by Luke Wilson on Lorain's last possession that he didn't dump it over to Jeremiah Daniels. He was all open on the left side. I don't think he saw him.
And it's certainly, once they've gotten into the meat of their possessions, Avon Lake's been trying to collapse on that paint, so could leave a few more openings there on the perimeter. We'll see if the Titans could take advantage. But speaking of taking advantage, Moore hits his first of two. We'll see if he can sink home the next one as they do hold a 46-41 lead at the moment. Taking his time, and he drops that one, no problem. As we hit under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Titans trailing by 6. And it feels like it's been a little while since we've called Julian Daniels' name. We'll see if they work the ball to him at all in this possession. Jalen Jackson passing down low, off the hands of a Shoremen. Tough to tell if that was off of the 12 of Gillespie or Fallish, but either way, it will remain Lorain's ball.
And that was to Luke Wilson. You got to wonder, was Wilson trying to fight for that ball or not because he's in foul trouble?
That's a great point there, Jared, as we now are at 30 seconds to go. Fallish not even thinking about it, and he puts it up, no good. And Lorain wasting no time despite the time left on the clock here. And Killian, we wondered if we would see him take a few more baskets, and right there, he made sure that one was going to end in points. So now under 15 to go as Basaw and Killian face off. Now it'll be Moore and Daniels as we've seen them go head-to-head all night. Great dump off and lay in Gillespie, and that will finish off the quarter. Shot not off in time, but oh, it was ever close to going in. That would have been fun. But the end of 3, that's going to leave us with 49-43 here as we enter the fourth quarter of play from Avon Lake High School. We'll be back to bring you that here in a moment. Final quarter of play is just about ready to start as both fan bases traveled out nicely here for their squads, and it's been a lively environment so far, and I don't expect that to stop here with 8 minutes remaining. 49-43. Both teams have played in a lot of close games this season. We'll see who we can finish the strongest and come out with the W. So Lorain begins the quarter on offense as they work their way around. Killian trying to hit a nice pass off. He won't, but he saves the possession. He'll kick it in the corner, drive down low. That's going to be the 21 of Rivera with it, giving it off. And now Daniels with a nice little no-look pass. Killian in the corner. He'll choose not to take it, but that's because he finds Jalen Jackson. Doesn't pull the trigger, but will continue to try to find an open look here in this possession. Avon.
Lorain's having good ball movement. They got to get a shot off, though. They have the looks that they need. They're just not, like you said, Max, pulling the trigger.
So we'll see right here. Great defense by Jones as he faces up. And encouragement from the crowd works. And now we're going to see Avon Lake going the other way. Basaw looking around for a pass. Nobody open. And he misses that one. Now we're going to see in transition. That could be a clear path down. The whistle's not stopping that dunk. Won't count, but man, it'll stay in the minds of everybody here. And I believe Trent Smith, he's going to pick up another one. So that's 4 for the senior guard.
So Trent Smith and then Luke Wilson of Lorain, both in foul trouble, both have 4 fouls. And you got to keep eye on for Lorain's Avon Killian and also Julian Daniels. They both have 3.
And it's been a very physical ball game, and right there, just not wanting to give up the easy basket. And clearly, for Julian Daniels, most baskets are that way, easy. As he demands the ball here. Jump step dribble, lays it in. Beautiful touch on that finish. As that makes it 49-45, Avon Lake.
Avon Lake, they want to build off the third quarter they just had. They scored 20 points in that third quarter, their biggest scoring margin of the game.
And right there, playing with fire, as it looked like Cameron Moore, he was just not aware of where he was. That heel touched the half-court line. So that press that Jeremiah Daniels has supplied all game paying off.
We saw it earlier in the game. There was one almost called on Avon Lake. This time, Lorain gets the turnover that they need to try to cut this deficit.
And that deficit is at 4 now. Daniels demanding it once again, putting it up, and it'll drop for the and one opportunity as he gets to 20 points on the night with a chance to make it 21. That's how you take over a game right now. Just demand it and say, it's either going up or I'm going to the line.
He has the mentality and attitude that this is my court, this is my paint. No one's going to take it from me, and it's showing here tonight.
So now he'll step to the line, the Rewalk Law free throw line. Call Chris Rewalk, attorney at law, for a free consultation today. Bouncing off the front of the rim and in. And that makes it a 1-point game here with just over 6 minutes to go. How will the Shoremen respond? Fallish has it as trying to get it to Moore, who obviously is being followed very closely by Daniels. This time he's trying to work his way down low, loses it, and they're going to say went off of Moore, and gives the ball back to Lorain as the turnovers now, they might be starting to add up and come back to bite them.
That is their 5th turnover this half.
It makes it 12 on the game. Shot missed there, but great offensive board and the putback. Adio Rivera gives Lorain the lead, and that fires up that bench and crowd for Lorain.
Lorain coming back from a 7-point deficit. Now they have the lead once again.
And it puts the pressure on Avon Lake, who takes a full timeout. We'll take it with them. When we come back, we'll continue this thrilling fourth quarter here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Getting a look at the Avon Lake Shoremen as they try to come up with some solutions and answers here to this Lorain run. And it's certainly come through number 23. I mean, I know it's not easy, but what's your plan if you're Coach Eric Smith, Jared? How are you slowing him down?
You have to get Julian Daniels out of the paint. You got to get him out of the paint, and then let's not forget Jalen Jackson. He's been shooting 3 balls all night long. You got to eliminate that 3-point shot from Jackson.
We'll see how they come out of the timeout here. Basaw will bring it up the floor instead of Moore this time, so they switch that up. Moore still in the game at the top of your screen. Basaw trying to make Killian work, and he'll give it off this time. Cameron Moore getting the pass back as there's some off-ball movement going on. Moore drives, turns around, has to give it off. He'll get it back as they're doing a lot of give and goes right now. High layup gets his own board. Gillespie misses that shot, but the the defensive board will not go to the Titans as it's going to be off of Rivera.
And those first 2 shots in this fourth quarter for Gillespie, those are the first 2 he's missed all night. It was a perfect to start out.
And those ones felt like maybe forcing it or settling, and all his other shots have been with ease, very efficient looks. So now Moore gets it back up to the top. And Fallish will look for an open man. He finds it. That time Gillespie gets it, drives, lays it in. 1-point lead back in favor of the Shoremen. Now Basal trying to work double duty on that side of the arc. And a good pass, but nobody home. Now we'll see a pass down low, and Daniels doesn't make that one. Gets it back, but gets the ball blocked right into his face, and may even have taken a hand to the face as he hits the deck.
I think he got hit in the family jewels. Seems like he's okay.
As he's on his feet now, and maybe right there, and down a point. He'll try to focus back in here and give Lorain the lead. As you mentioned early on, Avon Lake had been able to kind of hold off the Titans, but now we've seen a lot of lead changes and back and forth scoring runs.
And then that play too, it looked like Jackson had the floater there. I don't know why he dumped it off to Daniels, but Daniels, he did a good job of following the shot and drawing the foul.
And he'll turn it at least into 1 point. And now he'll get the opportunity to take the lead and break this 51-51 tie. And he'll do it, as he is the leading scorer of everybody in this game tonight, showing off his ability. Now Avon Lake coming back across. And a low pass, but Senior Smith is able to get a handle on it. Now driving, lots of contact, and he puts it up anyway. And that's going to be another lead back in favor of Avon Lake. Cross-court pass, what a find. And that's going to be Daniels with another bucket. We don't even have time to take a breath up here.
Julian Daniels with a cherry pick, if you will.
Made it look that way, right? I mean, there were so many Shoremen defenders in between him and the pass, but still pulled it off. And after the stoppage in play, I believe they're going to hit Jeremiah Daniels with his first foul, which is crazy to me considering how closely he's been guarding Cameron Moore all night, doing it cleanly as well.
He's been playing very well defensively tonight.
So now Gillespie will get the inbound. Driving as he's become more aggressive here in the fourth. That one off target. Daniels with a nice contest. Now Killian pushing the tempo, gets it up ahead. Great spin and a lay-in. No, it'll miss. Lorain tries to put it back in, hit back out by Fallish, and Lorain somehow retains possession. Great pass. That one just off the side of the rim, and Avon Lake will secure the rebound. And Lorain not back on defense at all, and the smaller Killian trying to contest the shot, but Trent Smith draws the foul and sinks the bucket as he'll head to the line.
And Smith did a good job there of not driving into Killian because he was aware that he has 4 fouls. He didn't want to draw the charge, and now he's back to the line.
He was very patient on that look as well, so he'll step there as he's gotten a few looks from the Rewalk Law free throw line. That one off the front of the rim, no good. And rebounded by Jalen Jackson. So now Lorain will get up ahead. And Killian makes up for it, matches Trent Smith's bucket, and gives Lorain a 1-point lead. And here comes Moore, trying to get a little bit of separation as he's near the middle court logo. And he's going to get contacted there. Tough to see who would call the foul on, as there was a couple guys in the vicinity. And just like that, Jeremiah Daniels picks up 2 quick fouls here in the fourth. And the third team foul, making it 3 team fouls for both teams.
And we talked about Avon Killian having 4 fouls. We haven't seen the big man, number 33, Luke Wilson, in a while, who also has 4 fouls. You got to wonder if your head coach, Matt Killian, when you bring him back in, because you're going to need him down the stretch in a tight game.
Yeah, especially in a game where they dominated the paint here in the second half. And that one, more heads-up defense as it's going to be poked out of bounds by Lorain. And we'll see the Shoremen reset on offense here. Just over 3 minutes remaining here in the game. We'll find more for the easy inbound. Dallas takes it back. And now gives it off to the freshman Basaw, and trying to get around Killian, swipe the head, swipe the afro, and not able to avoid turning it over. As they'll give him his second foul of the game. And it's always so interesting to me seeing matchups like that. Killian, a very polished senior veteran against Basaw, his first season of varsity action. Right there, Killian gets the better of him with some tight-knit defense. Now, Killian will set up the offense. And a low pass down to the side, but Killian's able to corral it. And now he'll take on Cameron Moore, who steps up to guard him. And you can tell they're in no hurry here with a lot of time ticking off the board.
And with a 1-point lead, excuse me, I don't know if I'd be doing that.
Well, we'll see if it pays off, and it will not as that pass tipped, picked, and it's going to remain Avon Lake ball. Check that. Nope, it will. Man, right near that half-court line as well. But Avon Lake was able to secure it, and Eric Smith said, I'm going to call a timeout. We're not going to play this game much longer. So just over 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Both sides will head to their respective benches and talk over some strategy. Now, if you are Avon Lake, you got to think here. If Lorain was willing to start draining the clock with over 2 minutes left, if you don't get a basket here, they will certainly do it again. So I got to imagine they're going to go for a very efficient look here close to the basket.
That's what they've been doing all night. They've been effective in the paint. And I agree, Max. I think that's their game plan here with 2:08 left to go.
And despite how effective the driving kick has been, I know they have a lot of shooters that they're heating up. They're pretty hot tonight, but I don't know if you want to risk a shot like that missing and giving Lorain another chance to tick off a possible minute. I mean, we've seen there's been stories of teams doing it for entire halves and quarters, so don't leave it up to the fouling game at the free throw line. So now they'll head back out. Ezra Jones checking back into the game for Avon Lake. And the two of Davion Moy will enter the game for Lorain. Other than that, the lineups will remain the same as is interesting. Killian exiting the game. Now Basaw get the pass and get it to Moore as they try to set up a play here.
2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes.
Couple men cutting across each side of the formation. Now they may reset. And that's going to be a pull-up jumper, Moore off the mark. And it's going to be rebounded. Great job pulling that down by Jalen Jackson. So now we enter that territory of how much time are they going to try to run off. But before we get to that, Lorain will call a timeout. And it'll be a 30-second variety, but we'll take a quick one with them and come back and bring you the conclusion of the fourth quarter here on the Lorain County Sports Network. We return here in this fourth quarter from Avon Lake High School. It's our Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week, and it's lived up to our hype expectations as both teams really fighting for a lot of pride and showing what they've got left in the tank on this season. And now we're left with a 1-point game in favor of the Titans.
We'll see how the Titans manage this clock. With a minute 35 left, they could just play keep away.
And they had no problem doing that last time around, and we're going to see a drive and a kick back. As this time, Julian Daniels drives. He's going to kick out, and they tried to give it back and forth. Did not work. Moore gets it in transition, and he's going to lay it up and in despite the defensive try by Killian to get in his way. And now, Lorain went from almost little to no pressure to having to get a bucket here to take the lead. Killian crosses that half-court line as we are now officially around 60 seconds remaining. Oh, little shimmy, lay it up, and it won't be good. And it looks like they're going to call that off before the potential basket. Or no, check that. That won't be on the floor, so they're going to send Jalen Jackson to the line.
And that's Trent Smith's 5th foul, so he has fouled out the game.
Yeah, that's a brutal guy to lose, especially in moments like this where rebounding could be very crucial. Exiting the game with 11 points and unofficially 7 boards. So now Jalen Jackson will get the chance to tie this game. And he hits that one, no problem. As is officially knotted up at 57 apiece. There we go, the all-important second free throw from the Rewalk Law free throw line. And that one bounces in and out, and it'll keep the game tied. So just as you thought this game could get more exciting, we've got under a minute to go in a tie ball game here at Avon Lake. Moore operating near that half-court line. He looks so comfortable doing it. That time he's going to pass off Gillespie, and he will miss it just off the front of the rim and was not able to bounce in. Killian pushing the attack, laying it up and in, high off the glass, and that's going to give the Titans a 2-point lead with under 25 seconds to go. So now Basaw hurrying his way across the court. Jones thought about it, drives, and he's going to put that layup off the glass, and it bounces, hits every corner of the rim and falls in. We've got a tie ball game once again.
And that's Jones' first points of the game with 13 seconds left. You gotta remember, Avon Killian has 4 fouls, and we haven't seen Luke Wilson, the big man, return yet on the floor. He has 4 fouls as well. You gotta wonder if Wilson will be on this play with 13 seconds left to get an important rebound.
Certainly, and on that defensive play, they really could have used him down low because, like you said, Jones, gutsy, took it to the rack, and he finished it off with, it looked very difficult, but I imagine it would have been even tougher with the 6'1", over 300-pound Luke Wilson out there. So now we officially sit at 13 seconds to go. And we did receive a full timeout from Lorain. And got to imagine they're going to do everything they can to when they put this last shot up, whether they make it or miss it, no time will be left on the clock, I'd imagine.
And we don't have how many timeouts that each team has left. I'm assuming that they have 1 left or they're out of them at this point.
As they have continued to dwindle down, and we've seen a lot of the full and 30-second variety. But let's see where this exciting game heads towards its conclusion. As Lorain will have to go the full way of the court. That means Ezra Jones is going to step up and try to make it as difficult on Killian as he possibly can. So he'll get it. And remember, at the end of the first half, they were not able to even get a shot up, so we'll see if they can rebound from that. Pass just out of the reach of one Jalen Jackson. And Killian tried to sneak it back door, but just wasn't able to connect with his teammate. And now 5 seconds left and a full court to go for Avon Lake.
And that was a great play drawn up by Lorain, but Killian just not accurate on his pass.
So now we'll see. Oh, and Cameron Moore sprinting down the field, trying to get a hand on it. And let's see, it's out of bounds, but who's it off of? This is a tough call, as it looked like both Moore and Jeremiah Daniels, who have been together all night, just next to each other every possession, were fighting for that ball. And I got to tell you, it was tough to tell from up here.
Both teams' fan sections are pointing the opposite direction. I didn't see a deflection off the football pass, but it looks like it's going to be Lorain ball based on the explanation that Avon Lake is getting right now.
Well, and it definitely, I think you're right, looked like a football pass. Now, if you're on YouTube, you can rewind. You can try to find as many looks at it as you can. We're prisoners of the moment, and we'll see where this officiating crew points. And I think you're right. The Avon Lake players anticipating it to go to Lorain.
I don't think anyone touched it. I don't think there was a deflection at all. It was just a long football pass that nobody could corral.
And with that, yes, then the inbounder, Jones, would be the last one to have it. So Lorain gets it, their crowd reacting, and now we'll see if Avon Lake can hold up and force overtime, or if Lorain can hit a miracle.
And I'm not sure what the head official has explained to the head table right now, with 4 seconds left to go in the game.
And I can't imagine it'd be a situation where they add more time. That would be tough to gauge, but we've also got Coach Killian from Lorain getting an explanation.
Well, I believe there was 5.5 seconds left on the clock before the football pass, so I don't know if they're going to add time or not. Doesn't look like it.
So they'll set up, and before we can get to this thrilling finish, we're going to get another timeout as Lorain will look to draw something up. We'll keep it here, as we can't ignore what's on the line right now. Forget those records, man. This is exciting. Lorain County High School hoops. Where else would you want to be right now? This might be one of the best games in the county this evening, in a non-conference tilt of all things. Just taking a moment to look ahead. We've got our Lorain County Sports Network video stream of the week next week, as we'll visit Keystone, and they will welcome in the Clearview Clippers. That'll be Tuesday the 4th, our first game of February. And Keystone, obviously one of the great teams in the Lorain County League. But looking at this right now, this obviously, it has no standing on the Southwestern Conference title race or Lake Erie League. This is just two teams fighting for a W here at the end of January.
And you gotta think this ball is gonna go to Julian Daniels.
As he definitely possesses the most height to go and steal it out of the air from any Avon Lake defender trying to take it. And then obviously Jalen Jackson, a great shooter. Maybe if they are able to get beyond the half-court line, they'll give it to him. Inbound man's going to be Moy, trying to get it over the outstretched arms of Budzar. Gets it off Killian, who's going to dribble up court. Passes ahead. They're going to lob it, and it goes in on the layup. Daniels at the buzzer finishes it off 61-59. And in all accounts, it's going to count. My goodness, what a pass by Killian, as he's been full of them tonight, Jared.
And Killian left all low near the half court, got the pass to Daniels, and he baked it in for the win for Lorain. Wow.
And we use the words thrilling, exciting, fun. I don't think any of that can match what we saw there.
I can't believe we just saw that. I can't comprehend that, Edwin.
Oh my gosh, and the athleticism on display by Daniels. We will certainly be talking to him after the game, and we'll get to much more in our Peace, Love, and Little Donuts post-game show, so stick around for that, and we'll try to hear from Coach Matt Killian as well as Julian Daniels. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Lorain County Sports Network. want to welcome you back into our Peace, Love, and Little Donuts post-game show, as that may have been the best finish of the Lorain County Sports Network video game so far this season, as we're now being joined by head coach Matt Killian, as well as Julian Daniels. As I don't know who wants to go first, but that was a crazy ending, guys.
Go ahead. All right, I'll go ahead. Yeah, so credit to Avon Lake. They played their butts off, and they just wouldn't quit. It wasn't the record that they have. That's not who came here to play. And you know, credit to their staff, credit to their players, and but also I'm gonna give our kids a lot of credit too, because
Certainly.
they deserve it. I mean, they stayed together. Avon Lake was hitting shots, and we were trying to get out on them, but they did a good job. And yeah, so I'm proud of this guy right here. He finally jumped. He showed that he could jump a little bit. And because I don't know, sometimes when I coach football, I said a bad pass makes a great catch.
Right.
And I don't think Avon's pass was that good, but he made it look really good. He made it look great. So
I'll tell you what, from up here, that looked perfect in line, like you guys had practiced that. I mean, have you done something like in practice like that before, Julian? I mean, that was incredible.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. In practice, sometimes we do it like after practice when coach be telling us to put the balls up and stuff. But, like, I guess he see that it paid off tonight.
Well, and in the fourth quarter, I'd love to highlight, because we were just blown away. You essentially took that game over there and put the team on your back. I mean, were you finding open looks, or was it just whatever you could get up?
Honestly, I give the credit to my teammates. You know, they were looking for me, and they knew it was my time to start to score and be aggressive and push the lead.
Well, you and Jalen Jackson both teamed up with that and did that extremely well. Coach, you talked about the back-and-forth nature of that. I mean, how was your team able to continue to respond in those moments? I mean, there were so many lead changes.
there really was. And, you know, we tried not to foul, but like I said, Avon Lake did a really great job of creating contact and making us move. And you know, we tried to speed them up a little bit, but they handled our pressure for the most part. You know, I give a lot of credit to Jeremiah Daniels, because he did a great job on Moore, who's a really good player, and so I give him credit. But yeah, the whole back and forth is just keeping our composure, staying together, and just playing for one another. I think that's the key for what it is that we did tonight.
Well, and that certainly came forward in your guys' effort. And speaking of great efforts, Julian, we got a Player of the Game shirt for you here from our great sponsor, Big Frog Custom T-shirts. As we can get you the right side, but I just love to see you hold that up as you're our Player of the Game. Fantastic performance tonight. And we've got to, like I mentioned in the pregame, we've got to hear you guys on radio and see what that is. But seeing it in person and on video, it's a whole different thing. So it was a great pleasure to see you guys tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for covering us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, it's our pleasure. And once again, that's Lorain head coach Matt Killian, as well as our Player of the Game, Julian Daniels. Big thank you to you guys coming up and giving some time for us, as we've also got a Hoop Tech certificate for you, Julian, as that'll be good to use anytime you would like, as you are our Player of the Game. Absolutely. And we will now continue our post-game wrap-up here, as, man, we've got a lot to unpack, because that was just a whole lot of fun. I don't know. I may have said in the moment that probably was our best game of the season, without a doubt, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Coach Killian and Daniels said in their interviews just now, back and forth action. Daniels didn't let anyone get in his way, dominated that fourth quarter, and his teammates helped him along the way. Avon Lake, they played great tonight. Like Coach Killian said, that record wasn't the same as the way they played tonight. And Avon Lake did a great job with the three-point game. They were able to make a lot of three-pointers tonight. It really worked in their favor, and at the line as well. Both teams were splendid at the line tonight.
Yeah, and I think that'll kick off our Al Januzzi CPA stats of the game, because it's all about the numbers. And obviously, we got our key takeaway there, leading everybody in points tonight, Julian Daniels, as he was a force down low and with some jumpers. And just like you said, a lot of efficient shooting from beyond the arc as well, which it's not always a guarantee at the high school level. So Great job by both sides at hitting those consistently. And our big brother and big sisters of Lorain County Rebound Report, there was a guy, we're calling his name a lot throughout the broadcast, Trent Smith, in a losing effort for Avon Lake, the senior guard who unfortunately fouled out, still was able to rack up around 7 boards there unofficially. So he, despite his 6-foot stature, I mean, he was a force in getting some extra possessions and kicking out for outlet passes. So he is going to get our highlight on the rebound report. Be a big, get a big. Big brothers, big sisters of Lorain County. And finally, I don't think we have to look much further than the guy that made the pass for our Elevation Training Center Hustle Award. I mean, who else than Avon Killian?
Killian, he was amazing tonight. We talked about at the top of the hour the playmaker that he is for the Titans team, and he did again tonight, especially with those last 4 seconds.
And it ended up giving them the 2-point victory, as that's just about going to wrap it up. There's not much else to say. You got to see it right here.
We're still in shock.
On YouTube,
we're still in shock.
Still almost out of breath from it. Maybe got to get my conditioning up like these guys. But a big thank you to everyone on our crew, with Edwin Vereen, the captain of our ship here, as well as David Cute behind the camera, my partner Jared Viancourt, Dave Rivera, we miss you, man. And I hope you got to see this exciting game. I'm Max Drummond. For all of us here on the Lorain County Sports Network, have a great night.